Hello everybody, and welcome to the celebration of my life. This is Paul here, as you probably guessed, and I guess it's possibly a bit unusual for someone who's dead to speak at his own celebration service, but well, I've never been one for doing things by the rule book. I wanted today to be a happy event, to celebrate what I've been doing throughout my life, rather than one where you all wear black. So to this end, I'm hoping there's going to be some singing, some dancing and some recorded music which might get you in the right frame of mind.
Paul was a very charismatic chap. You never knew what was going to happen next when Paul was around. When he came into the room, you knew something was going to happen. He was very unpredictably outrageous. Paul was very quick-witted. He had a scary intellect. I always thought his ability to relate to people of all ages was something extraordinary. He could relate to youngsters, but also elderly people as well, older people. So he seemed to be able to relate to everybody, which I thought was quite remarkable. But when I first met Paul in 1976, there was something missing in his life. He was sort of complete, but not incomplete. He was always searching. And what we knew he needed was a woman. And then one day along came Sandra, and that was it.
Down by the banks of the sweet primroses, there I beheld a most lovely fair.
Sandra and Bristol Morris Men were the making of Paul, really.
Anyway, when I finished, Wudzi came bouncing up to me like an overexcited Labrador puppy. A huge, great Wudzi smile on his face, slapped me on the back and said, "That was awful." So I was devastated, obviously. I went, "Wudzi, we're going to miss you, mate. Without you, the world's going to be a quieter place." Paul was a dancer with a wonderful style, and he played the melodic really well. But that's not the Paul Woods we're celebrating today. To him, moving to Bristol was the worst thing he'd ever done. And he made sure everybody knew how much he hated Bristol. He soon had us drinking cups of coffee in his flat, listening to Shirley Collins, Richard Thompson.
Dirty people take what's mine. I can leave them all behind. They can never cross that line when I get to the border.
You, for me, are the epitome of the Bristol Morris Men and the character amongst, let's face it, some very big characters, who's left the most lasting impression upon me with your golden radio voice, your booming laugh and your wicked humour. The fun and enjoyment which you have brought to so many of us over the years is absolutely priceless.
The measure of a man is the way he bears misfortune. Paul has set a high bar for living life to its fullest.
What's the life of a man any more than a
I think it's probably no surprise to most of you that one of my favourite artists is the guitarist, singer, songwriter Richard Thompson. One of my top favourite songs of his Push and Shove, he sang for approximately 6 months around 1989 and has steadfastly refused to repeat it ever since. Over the years, I've called out at concerts for him to do this, and this is the sort of reply I've had.
Oh, I'll do that one. It's rubbish.
Well, now, to quote another song which was often sung, if not written by Richard, "Now that I am dead," it comes with its certain privileges. All I had to do was to approach the great man himself and say, "Richard, could you sing a song at my funeral celebration, please?" And he said,
Push and Shove.
Paul Woods in 5 words. You are now officially rendered fertile.
Paul was my patient in the oncology centre, and he was great fun but also a bit of a nightmare, especially when he took off to Lapland, and I told him can't go, but he went. But I loved him a lot. He was good mate.
He just embodied the world of Morris, friendship, encouragement. Wherever you met, whoever he met, everybody liked him. I can't think of anyone who could have possibly a bad word for Paul. He was everybody's friend. He is my Uncle Happy.
Fun, an inspiration, wild, mad, just a great bloke.
My body memories are the swimming we used to do together. We used to swim, every weekend and bike ride and that. This was sort of apart from, the Morristown singers.
Wudzi always looks on the bright side of life.
As we got towards the pub, we could hear the carol singing drifting out across the car park, up the lane. So we broke into a bit of a trot, thinking that we'd missed the start. And when we got in there were 2 people there, and the recording, it was a tape.
He was the very antithesis of the shy, introverted figure of popular myth. Anybody who thought that about a librarian certainly should have been introduced to him, forcibly. Yet the awful puns and jokes, a sheer love of life. He seized life with both hands, and he was a life enhancer for others. Mark you, he could be either a bouncing, irrepressible Tigger, or a very gloomy Eeyore indeed. But to me, he was outstanding as an educator and at information retrieval. No student was going to be bored when he was teaching them the, let's face it, what could be very boring intricacies of using the catalogue or a bibliographic database. The jokes and puns were much too fast for that. But doing a session with him could be rather a wince-making experience. You never knew what would come out of his mouth. Which is fine in a social situation, a little less fine sometimes in a lecture theatre. The concept of political correctness was an alien concept, totally. To me, he was simply one of the kindest, most generous people I've ever met, and a wonderful friend. Simon and I will miss him.
Parting glass, good night and joy be to you all.
life and soul of party.
One hell of a guy.
Thank you once again for attending, and remember, I love you all. Goodbye.